Good now? Good? Test, test, test. Nope, that's fine. Let's see if I can find, oh, okay. Let's see if I can find the button.
You're still muted up there.
Yep, I'll wait for you. Yep, sounds good. If everyone would like to take their seats, we'll get started here. Okay, so good evening. Thank you all for joining us. For those of you who don't know me, I am Jeff Grumley. I'm the District 4 representative and also the appointed board chairman. I am pleased to welcome you here tonight for the meeting. It is no small feat for municipalities to join together to solve a regional problem. That is why we are all here tonight, to solve a regional problem. One that affects all of us and everyone who is important to us. As you'll hear during tonight's presentation, together we need to build a better EMS system for Indiana County. A system that will provide a high-level service at an affordable cost on a suitable basis. A group of volunteers from your committee has spent many months and countless hours studying the issues and discussing solutions. And collectively, they have all arrived at a proposal for the best path forward. Now it's time for all of us to take the next step. That step is allowing the formation of a regional municipal authority with a representative governing board that can drill down into the further details and bring those details back to your municipalities for consideration at a later date. To be open and clear, tonight is not about the exact cost, staffing levels, or station locations. Those details will only be ironed out if the proposal of authority is created. Municipal leaders, if creating the authority is not supported, this effort stalls, and communications remain at risk of losing your EMS. But by voting in the affirmative, you can ensure your municipal has a voice in decision and the opportunity to be a part of the next steps to solve the EMS crisis. This is what tonight is all about. EMS is a central public service. It is my hope that as a community, we're going to leave this room tonight having taken the next step to make sure the EMS will always be available when you or your loved ones need it. So thank you all for coming, and I'll turn it over to Rob now.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for attending this evening. My name is Rob Brady. I was the consulting firm. My firm was hired to work with the delegates, the district reps, the municipalities, the county commissioners, put this plan together on this first step. Tonight, I'm going to go over everything that was decided this evening. I'm going to ask for everybody for any questions or comments to wait. Hold your questions and comments until the public comment section. We have this evening several students who are part of the Homer Center School District, their Honor Society. They're going to be up and helping, getting microphones out to you so you can stay in your place to make this a little bit simpler. So they'll be ready, but we're going to go over this presentation of where we are at this point in time. So the purpose of tonight is the voting on an ordinance that will ensure that your municipality has a voice in the decisions and the opportunity to be part of the next steps. Okay, emergency services in Indiana County are at risk. So through the process, what we were able to determine is that the voluntary subscriptions, the ambulance club membership stuff that Citizens sends out, and the other ambulance services are continuously declining. So we've had a constant decline of the voluntary subscriptions. The cost for EMS collectively, whether in Indiana County, anywhere else in Pennsylvania, or across the country, continues to increase exponentially. And the third part of the equation is that insurance, the insurance that your health insurance pays, only pays for a very small part of the cost of the delivery of ambulance service. It essentially just helps cover the cost of the actual call. It does not help cover the cost of the readiness for service, the staffing, the buildings, the apparatus, the equipment, and those type of things. State of EMS in Indiana County. As you can see from the graph, Citizens Ambulance subscriptions has decreased 33% since 2013 to 2023. Okay, LifeStat, which serves several municipalities in the southern end of the county, they stopped providing services this past year in December of 2024. Okay. Citizens Ambulance, as we said, those decline in subscriptions. Approximately only 4 in 10 households, essentially 40% or less, are contributing voluntarily to supporting the ambulance services in Indiana County. Okay. So, as you know, as elected officials, the municipal codes have put the authority of the delivery of fire and EMS services to the municipalities in Pennsylvania under provisions under the Emergency Services Law by state law in the boroughs codes, second-class township code, first-class township code, and the third-class city code. So it's municipalities, each municipality's responsibility to provide that level of that service. Okay, so building a better EMS system for Indiana County. The boroughs and the townships are working together to form a countywide municipal emergency services authority to provide EMS, emergency medical services, or sometimes more commonly called as ambulance services, on a sustainable basis. So the process that got us to here, in 2023, the county commissioners organized an initiative to solve the EMS crisis. I'm going to try something. Can I take this out? Is this wireless? There. I think that'll work better. Instead of me turning around, I'm going to stand over here. All right, 2023, the county commissioners organized an initiative to solve the EMS crisis. A steering committee was formed. There's several of you in the room who were originally on the steering committee to study and assess the solutions that were available. 2024, the committee identifies an authority model as the best path forward to solving EMS services long-term for Indiana County. They develop a framework to create this countywide EMS authority. What we envision in early 2025, starting this evening, is that the municipalities will enact an ordinance to take the next steps. Okay, and that will be tonight, it'll be tomorrow night for the remainder of the municipalities. And then there will be a public hearing on the incorporation of the authority within the next month and a half, potentially. Okay, what is a municipal emergency services authority? Under the proposal, it is an administrative services authority established in accordance with the Pennsylvania Municipal Authorities Act. Okay? It will manage and fund EMS 24 hours a day and for readiness to respond, not only for the call, but for all the ancillary stuff that goes along for providing EMS services. It would be municipally led, it would be publicly funded, it would be accountable, and it will be transparent. It will be benefit all the residents, the business and visitors to, of course, Indiana County. The most recent one that was formed in Pennsylvania following this model was the Municipal Emergency Services Authority of Lancaster County. It was incorporated in February of 2023. They serve municipalities in the northwest part of Lancaster County. If you're familiar with Lancaster County, the Route 283 corridor from essentially Mount Joy up to the Dauphin County line is where they serve. It is the same process, the same concept, be a publicly funded system benefiting everybody, and they provide basic life support and advanced life support to all the communities that they serve. Okay. What are the benefits for you, your family, and your community? This is a sustainable model for emergency services. It guarantees the 24 readiness to respond to EMS calls. It's local governance. It's all of you. And as a result of being local and all of you, it's easily accessible from not only yourselves as elected officials, but by your neighbors, families, and others that live in the community. Okay? Everything has been done on, and will continue to be on a local planning and decision-making level. And with this process, all the public meetings are going to be public, needless to say. They're going to be transparent. All the documentation, everything involving this process are all public records. So it is going to be very, very transparent. Everybody agreed that transparency and accountability was of the utmost importance after making sure the delivery of 911 services were guaranteed. Okay? So, dealing with 38 potential municipalities in a county, that's a big task. So what we decided is looking through this, and what originally the steering committee and then the district reps decided to put this into a district type of system, a service district. Okay? So this is how it was divided up. It was divided up into 10 districts. Would you like me to read each one, or is everybody okay? I can read them if you'd like me to. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of no's, so okay. So it was divided up into 10 districts. As you can see on the map, it lays it out there, and that's how the participating municipalities, everybody within that district, your district representative to the authority is where your voice. That's the hierarchy of how the system would work. So currently the district representatives that are appointed to get us to this point from each of the municipalities for District 1 is Augie Santini. Augie, where are you at tonight? There he is. Okay. District 2 is Terry Pierce. I know I saw him someplace. There. Yeah. I should wear my glasses. District 3, Sandy Waldenville. Sandy's over here. Okay. District 4, Jeff Gromley, sitting up front here. District 5, I saw John Gretzky over here. District 6, Danny Sacco to his immediate left. District 7, where Nick Brillhart. There he is, Nick Brillhart. District 8, Chris is back here. District 9, Bill Simmons. I'm not sure if Bill is here tonight. They're on the agenda for tomorrow night. Bill's not here. Okay, and District 10 is Mike Keith, and unfortunately Mike has come down with the stomach bug that's been circling the area. So he's unable to attend tonight. So they're your district representatives as they currently are. So. Okay, so the authority, the board structure that's proposed to be those 10 municipal district representatives, one from each district. Each municipality will have the voice in the management of the authority through that district representative, as I explained. Okay, and it has been recommended that we have 2 members at large as well. Okay, so the services. The services are pretty consistent with a 911 system and those emergent needs for emergency medical services in a community. So it's going to be the basic life support, and that's your EMT level care. Then the next one would be your intermediate life support, would be a combination of that EMT paramedic system. Then of course the advanced life support, the paramedic or potentially higher with pre-hospital registered nurses, those type of things. Then of course revamping and revitalizing and getting more community involvement with the immediate response personnel, a system that's been around for many years. Then the critical care services that may be needed in the community. The interfacility, BLS and ALS associated with that critical care. A lot of times patients need to get to a higher level of care at a different hospital. This would be one of the 911 services, an emergency transport for those critical patients to a different level, different facility. Community education and training. There's 3 things that are envisioned. Community CPR, Stop the Bleed, the trauma education stuff. They're the 2 big things, and there's potentially 1 or 2 other things, but they're the 2 big ones, CPR and Stop the Bleed program. And of course some of the ancillary stuff that they've always done and continue to do, seatbelt or car seat checks and those type of things. And of course the community engagement that the service has done. You know, going to your fairs, going to community events, those type of things. But they're the services that are envisioned essentially identical to what is done today. So how it will be funded? The authority will charge property owners an annual fee. The authority board will determine the annual fee. A public hearing will be held on the proposed fee, the structure, and the service plan. So as we develop more, there's going to be additional public hearings and inputs that will occur after this process tonight. The annual fee is anticipated to be on par with the EMS agency voluntary membership subscription rates. Once the authority begins operating, the goal is to have it operating by beginning of 2026. The fee would replace the ambulance EMS service voluntary subscription that you get in the mail today. The fee would replace that, okay? Just so you know. Okay. Will property owners have to pay an annual fee if they have insurance? Yes, as insurance reimburses, as we said earlier, only part of the cost of EMS, and it's on a per-call basis. It does not pay for the insurance reimbursement process, does not pay for the full cost of service. Like I said, the readiness for service, the buildings, the staffing 24 hours a day, the apparatus, and those type of things. The annual fee revenue will fund the balance of the operating expenses and enable the authority to provide the EMS emergency medical services on a sustainable basis. The goal of this is to make up that deficit that every ambulance in Pennsylvania is dealing with on a daily basis by going to this system. Okay. Will the annual fee be billed to renters? No, the annual fee will not be billed to renters. In accordance with the Pennsylvania Municipal Authorities Act, the annual fee will be billed to property owners. Property owners then make the decision how that goes down to renters, leaseholders, that type of thing. They choose to pass it on, they choose to pass it on. That is the property owner's decision on how they handle that. Will the authority replace Citizens Ambulance? District representatives are currently in discussions working with Citizens Ambulance Services. It is possible that at the onset, the authority would provide management oversight and funding for the countywide EMS system, and Citizens Ambulance Service would deliver the services under a contractual agreement. Okay? That specifies service levels, expectations, requirements, and those type of things. And tonight we have two representatives from Citizens here as well from their board. I saw Rob walk in. I don't know where they. Yep, Rob's sitting over here, and where's Dave Piper? Dave's up here. So yes, we're working diligently with Citizens to have a. I'm sorry. Oh, where's Sandy? I didn't see her come in. Oh, hi, Sandy. So to have a flawless transition and make sure the service continues uninterrupted. Will the authority hold regular public meetings? Yes. As a municipal government organization, the authority would be subject to the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act, okay, aka also known as the Open Meetings Law, okay, and the Right to Know Law. So if you put in the Right to Know request, information would be provided to you. All board meetings would be public meetings during which the public would be welcomed and encouraged to attend. The financial and operational decisions would all be discussed and approved at public meetings. Okay. What would happen if the authority is not created? If the authority is not created and funded, your community may not have the ability to provide emergency services when you and your loved ones need them. The Countywide Emergency Services Authority will ensure that life-saving emergency services continue to be available on a long-term sustainable basis. Here is the next steps in the process. So March 2025, we anticipate, if everything continues to move forward as is, we'd file the articles to incorporate the authority. In spring of 2025, the first authority board meeting would occur. Summer of 2025, there would be additional public hearings on the services and the fees. And then fall 2025 to early 2026, the authority, if everything goes as proposed, the authority would prepare to begin operating January 1st, or sometime in that general ballpark. Okay, so at this point in time, thank you for your attention at this. We're going to switch over to the joint special meetings for the municipal ordinances. I'm going to get a little bit of help with this. And when you look at your agenda that was handed out for tonight's meeting, we are going to do right now, alphabetically, each municipality, and I'm going to identify the municipality, and I'm going to ask you a simple question, and if your answer is yes, we'll proceed to the next municipality. So the first one this evening is Banks Township. Banks Township. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, folks. Do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Yes. Okay. Can you please conduct your roll call of the members present this evening? Okay. Got that? All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. And next, I'm sorry. Township, right? Blacklick Township. No. Just doing roll call. Yep. Yes, sir. Thanks for asking. Blacklick Township. Gentlemen. Yes. Okay. Does Blacklick Township call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Yes, for Blacklick. And can you please do your roll call for your members present? Frank Monty. Tim Stewart. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Next one. Blairsville Borough. Okay, Blairsville Borough, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Yes, thank you. Can you please do roll call for your members present this evening? There. Okay, got everything? Okay, thank you very much, folks. Okay, next. Okay, Borough Township. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Okay, Borough Township, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Thank you, sir. The answer is yes. Can you please roll call your members present tonight? John Schultz, Chairman. Graham Ferrer. Got it. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Next. Okay, Canoe Township. Gentlemen. Okay, Canoe Township, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Yes, thank you. And can you please conduct your roll call? And? John? Okay, great. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, next. Cherry Hill Township. Okay, Cherry Hill Township, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Yes. Okay. Can you please conduct your roll call? Okay. Got it. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, next. Cherry Tree Borough, right? Yeah, Cherry Tree Borough. Okay. Cherry Tree Borough, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Yes. Yes, thank you. And can you please conduct your roll call? Lee Schramm. Phil Faint. Thank you, folks. Appreciate that. All right, next one.
Clymer Borough.
Okay, Clymer Borough. Where are we sitting at here? Okay, Clymer Borough, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Yes. Can you please conduct your roll call, please? Okay, sounds good. Thank you, folks. Okay, Conemaugh Township. Conemaugh Township, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Yes, thank you. Can you please conduct your roll call, please? Get Don's last name? Okay. Lester Beers? Good. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, East Mahoning Township. East Mahoning, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Yes, thank you. Gentlemen, can you do your roll call, please? Patrick Ackerson. Rich Lyson. Yeah, Rich. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, next. Glenn Campbell Burrow. Glenn Campbell Burrow, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Yes. Can you please do your roll call, please? Dave Lucas. Darrell Harris. Okay. Jim Myers. Okay. Mr. Chair. Okay. Okay, good. Good. Hey, thank you, folks. Okay, Grant Township. Present. Thank you. Grant Township, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? We do. Thank you. Can you please conduct your roll call? Stacy Long. Is that good, too? Okay, great. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.
Green Township.
I'm sorry. Okay, Green Township. Green Township. Okay, Green Township. Green Township, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Yes, thank you. Can you please conduct your roll call? You know who they are?
Mike Wilson.
Mike? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Homer City Borough.
Okay. Homer City Borough. Okay. Homer City. Thank you. Okay. Homer City Borough, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Yes. Thank you. Can you please conduct your roll call? Joe Izzy. Matthew Black. Ken Saccone. Is Brian's name? Raw one. Got them? Got them? Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Montgomery Township.
Okay, Montgomery Township. Okay, Montgomery Township, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Thank you. And can you please conduct your roll call, please? William Erb. Kevin Bamers. Edward Freeham. Okay, got him? Okay. So, all right. Next.
North Mahoning.
Thank you. Okay, North Mahoning. Okay, North Mahoning, thank you. North Mahoning Township, do you call to order your special meeting for the purposes of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Yes, thank you. Can you please conduct your roll call? Got it. Okay. Carl Huber. Okay.
Just two.
Thank you. Thank you, folks.
Pine Township.
Okay, Pine Township? Okay, great, thanks. Pine Township, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Yes. Thank you. Can you conduct your roll call, please? Chris Cameron. Brian Schultz. Is that good? Okay, thank you very much.
Next one, Smicksburg.
Okay, Smicksburg Borough. Thank you. Smicksburg Borough, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Thank you. Can you please conduct your roll call? Okay. Neil Slaymore. Greg Steitler. Okay, great. Thank you, folks. Okay, next.
South Mahoning.
South Mahoning Township. Okay, South Mahoning Township, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Yes, thank you. Can you please conduct your roll call? Todd Island. Robert Damon. Okay. Brian. Okay. We good there? All right, thank you. Okay, Washington Township. Washington Township, thank you. Washington Township, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Thank you. Can you please conduct a roll call? Jesse Schultz. Is that all of them? That good? Okay. Thank you, folks. Okay, next.
White Township.
Okay, White Township. That's all. White Township, great. White Township, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Yes, thank you. Can you please conduct a roll call? Okay, great. Thank you very much, folks. Okay. All right.
Young Township.
Okay, Young Township. Young Township, good evening. Young Township, do you call to order your special meeting for the purpose of deliberating the proposed ordinance to delegate the administration of EMS to a county-created authority? Thank you. Can you please do your roll call? Okay, you got that?
What was the last one?
Walt, what's your last name? Salson. Okay. Thank you, sir. Got everybody? All right, thank you, folks. Thank you very much. At this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to Ben Reed.
Thank you. Good evening. You're in for a real treat. You're going to be spoken to by a lawyer. I'm sure that makes everyone real happy. My name is Ben Reed. I'm an attorney at the law firm of Meddy Evans and Woodside in Harrisburg. For the entirety of my 15-year career, I've worked closely with municipalities and municipality authorities in my practice, and a significant part of that has been also working with Rob Brady and his consulting company on fire and EMS mergers. About the approach, I'm going to get to the ordinance very soon. The approach that we have is one where other colleagues of mine and I for years had believed that there were various sections of the Municipality Authorities Act statute that, combined with the case law that interprets it, provide a pathway for fire and EMS solutions on a regional basis. If you're unfamiliar with the Authorities Act, it allows for expressly a lot of purposes. Conspicuous in there is that it doesn't say fire and EMS. All it takes is an act of legislature to streamline this process. We'll just say they've been slow to do that, which has put lawyers and other professionals in a position to wear their thinking caps and really put their heads together to come up with an alternative way to get this done. We employed this approach in Northwest Lancaster County recently. It was a group of municipalities that said, we don't care if the Authorities Act specifically says fire and EMS. We don't care about that. Ben and others, can you find a legal framework to get this done so that through the powers of the Authorities Act, which allows you to assess fees to properties, we want to be able to do that because we have a regional crisis and we want to take care of it. So we work with them. Long process, and I'll be brief on that. It's working. It's working there. So the approach that we were hired to employ here in Indiana County is a version of that, but it's tailored to what your needs are, and working with the people on the ground here to come up with a proposal, an approach that is tailored to what you need. So specifically with the ordinance, broadly speaking, by enacting the ordinance, your municipality will be signaling that it wants to be a part of the solution. That's the broad approach. I mean, could we have done a one-line motion in a meeting says, we want to be a part of it? Yeah, you could have done that, but we wanted it to be a little more formal with an ordinance and add some other language to it. Regarding some of the specifics, when you're building, not to get too much into the weeds, but when you're building a legal foundation that's going to withstand some scrutiny, I mean, if our clients say, hey, we want to do this, I'm not going to say, okay, we'll just do this even though it's not legal. No, I mean, we have to find the right way to do it. It's not always a clear path to a legally sound way, but that's what we're tasked to do. So everything that's prepared, especially these ordinances, are done with intent for it to withstand scrutiny. And I'm going to go through some of the operative sections of the ordinance. All the ordinances are identical. Change, township, borough, and the names. There's strategic choice in the words, and I'll go over some of those. What we call the whereas clauses, the preambles, that just kind of sets the table, and a lot of that was covered in the presentation that Rob delivered. And it speaks to, the Authorities Act allows for this type of an authority, and I'm going to avoid getting into the weeds on this, but there's this use of administrative services in commercial establishments. It's language that those legislators who crafted the language of the Authorities Act put in there. Can you look to why they put it in there? Sometimes you can interpret that, but as lawyers, you're trained to look at the plain language of the statute. So intentionally, there's language in this ordinance that draws from the provisions of the Authorities Act that we're relying on for this to be a legally sound platform for, a regional EMS model. So that's laid out. I'm going to get to the operative sections of the ordinance, and I'm going to read these because it's a short ordinance, and I think it will hopefully answer some of the questions that you might have, and it will streamline the voting process by municipality. So Section 1 says, "This township or borough hereby determines that delegating the administration of emergency medical services within this township or borough to the authority will improve the quality of life of its residents and the ability of the commercial establishments within this township or borough to serve consumers, among other benefits, by more equitably funding and delivering essential emergency medical services to all businesses and residents within the township or borough." There's a couple things I want to point out here. One is the delegating the administration of EMS. Whether some of the municipalities here recognize it or not, you're the ones who determine who provides EMS in your community. Now, we know that historically, Citizens has always done it, or this nonprofit has always done it. Same with fire. Oh, they've always done it. It's like, well, it's quite possible that you have an ordinance on the books from years ago that says, hey, we permit this entity to perform the services on our behalf. You call the shots. If you want to say you're not doing it anymore, you can do that. Now, that makes it messy if you want to be so swift. But so the purpose of this is to specifically say that delegating the administration of the provision of these services to an entity is something that you desire to do. Now, the paragraph that follows in Section 1 says, "This delegation of responsibility shall not occur until the authority commences provision of its services to the township or borough on a date specific, as this township or borough and the authority shall mutually agree." It's important to note that by enacting the ordinance tonight, you're not giving anything away right now. You're making a statement that it's in your best interest for your community to delegate EMS to the authority, but that doesn't occur until the authority is ready to deliver its services on a date that's mutually agreeable. So there's another stage where when your municipality is even more active in the process to making everything happen, you've worked out the details, the authority is incorporated, the specifics of how the authority is going to work with the provider, the actual provider of EMS, all that stuff's worked out. Then the switch is flipped. That's when the delegation happens. Okay? So it doesn't happen tonight. Section 2, "This township or borough hereby designates the entirety of this township or borough as a service district of the authority." This is language from the Authorities Act because the provisions that we're using require there be a designation of the service district. Now, some of the use of these business districts / administrative services portions of the Authorities Act contemplate just small blocks or neighborhoods within a municipality being designated as a service district. Here, the idea is that the entirety of your municipality would be a service district served by the authority, not saying don't go to these neighborhoods. No, we're going to every neighborhood in your municipality, so that's what that's about. Section 3, the Board of Supervisors of the Township or the Council of the Borough is hereby authorized to select initially and on an ongoing basis the representative to serve on the district committee to which it pertains. And this is an opportunity to talk just a little bit more about the concept. And you're familiar with authorities, sewer authority, water authority. The municipality appoints the board members. It's like, who wants to be voluntold? Who wants to be on the board? And then they do their thing. There's a, state law says that once an authority is created, it's a sovereign entity. It does what it wants. The municipality appoints members, but the authority functions independently. But when we designed this concept, we used the Authorities Act and we said we want to make this even more accountable, more belt and suspenders, more input by the people who are going to be served by the authority. So when you have 36, 38 municipalities going to be served by a 12-member board, we weren't going to create a 150-member board. It's a little unwieldy. So the idea behind these district committees is, geographically, a handful of municipalities in each district, you're meeting regularly to talk about what's important to you, and then your representative on that district committee is going to have a board seat. Now you can say, how do they have a board seat? Authorities Act doesn't say that you have to give, it doesn't say that a municipality shall give others the opportunity to appoint seats on its behalf. This is where we have an agreement and we have other understandings put in place that sets forth that the county is going to appoint formally, because the statute says that, these seats, but it's going to take the direction from the district committee. So this section establishes that the municipality is going to select a representative to serve on the district committee. Section 4, proper officers of this township or borough are authorized and directed to do such further acts and things as may be necessary or expedient in order to carry out the intent and purpose of this ordinance. That's lawyer catch-all language. So, anything that's related to this, we don't want someone to say, hey, the ordinance didn't say that, so we can't do it. Well, if it's reasonably related and tied to what we're all trying to do in this ordinance, then it's authorized, That's what that's there for. Section 5, all ordinances and parts of ordinances inconsistent herewith are repealed. That's another kind of standard language you have in an ordinance. I'll leave it at that for now. You've heard enough from me. And I should have led with that, these special meetings were called to order of each municipality. We tried to find the balance between having everyone hear a message, but preserve the integrity of each, action proposed to be taken by each municipality. It was advertised in the Indiana Gazette a week before the meeting, which the Borough Code and the Township Codes require, so we satisfied that. So now we are going to move to an open public comment period on the ordinance. We understand it's going to be difficult to not want to talk about all the issues and all the things that are on your mind about this and that and the authority. I mean, not trying to minimize it. I'm just saying that we want to restrict as much as possible your comments to the ordinance, and to the extent it's reasonably related to the ordinance, we're going to do our best to address it, but we're really going to try to avoid using this forum as answering any question you might have on the process. And this is the one little segue also. It's not the last opportunity members of the public are going to have to speak their minds on this process. We set this up in a way that goes above and beyond what the Authorities Act requires in terms of notice and hearings, and above and beyond probably what the municipal codes require. Because what happens after this is ordinances are enacted, then the county says, I feel comfortable now moving forward because we have 36 municipalities who said they want to be a part of this. Now we're really ready to harness all the energy and power of the community. The county advertises a hearing that it's going to hold to create an authority, 30-day notice. Hey, everybody, come to the county commissioner meeting date X. We're going to have a hearing, talk about whatever's on your mind. Time limits, but you're not restricted just to the ordinance or this. It's your opportunity to talk about the concept. Public hearings held. County will have advertised an ordinance to enact its ordinance to create the authority. If that's approved, then the county has created the authority, and that ordinance is going to lay out who the initial board members are. It's all there. Articles of incorporation. When you incorporate a sewer water authority from day one, they can set rates. You know, oh, we're going to adopt our rate resolution day one. These are the rates. The type of authority that we're creating, the Authorities Act doesn't allow you to do that. It says if you want to have an authority that provides these types of services, you have to have another hearing. You have to advertise that we have a plan. You have a detailed plan. We have fees associated with it. All the details are laid out. That's another hearing that's held after the authority is incorporated, where people can say, I don't like the plan, I like the plan, the fees are good, the fees are bad, and then there's a period in which you can voice your opinion on that. So that's another hearing where you can speak your mind on the whole process. So this isn't your last opportunity to have your voice heard, but we do ask that it be limited to the extent possible to the ordinance before you. So all of that said, a 3-minute limit per member of the public. Our fine students from the Honor Society are here, are going to walk around, raise your hand, stand up. They'll take a microphone to you. State your name. It's important that you state your municipality because your elected officials need to know where the voice is coming from. They can listen to everyone, but in particular, they have to pay attention to the voices of their constituents. So make sure you say where you're from. And I'll stay up here and try to answer any questions, and then we'll go from there to the active municipal deliberation portion of the meeting. Thank you.
My name is Gail McCauley. I'm a supervisor in White Township. I first apologize for my voice. I have bronchitis. I do have remarks. I will try and get them said within the 3-minute period. My father always told me, don't ever sign anything until you have all of the information. Having worked in law offices in 3 different states, I never worked for an attorney who said to a client, sign this and we'll find out what's involved later. I do not think that we have enough information to go through with the authority. Having read the proposed ordinance, and of course I'm sure you all have, and you've heard comments about administration. Personally, I do not feel that Citizens Ambulance has done a terrible job of administration, considering what Citizens Ambulance has been put through in the last 3, 4, 5 years. They've done the best job that they could do, with limited, reducing funds. This authority says that it will be taking over the administration. Well, we're going to have to employ an administrator. We already have competent people at Citizens Ambulance, so why are we going to go in and increase the expense in the authority to administer Citizens Ambulance? I don't really think that that's necessary. And I know we're supposed to be addressing just the ordinance, but because how horrible I feel, I beg your indulgence, and I'd like to comment on the bylaws. There is a part in the bylaws that says you can withdraw. Yes, but there's also a punishment clause in those bylaws. So if we adopt this and we form this authority and then we get into it and find out, no, this is not what we wanted, we're going to be punished to withdraw. It's a little too soon. Let's talk about numbers. We don't have any numbers. I think that's very important. because right now, and I'm going to go a little high, maybe Chris behind me knows the numbers better than I do, but let's say Citizens Ambulance needs $2 million to continue. The funds that we've probably all heard quoted a little bit here, a little bit there, could mount up to $6 million. I've also heard numbers of $9 million. Why do we have to raise six? Now, please let me finish.
I'm just advised that the 3 minutes has passed, so I can get it out.
Will anybody give me their 3 minutes? Yes. Okay. Okay. I don't see why we have to raise that much money and put that kind of a burden on the people of this community. And many of you here belong to, are supervisors, and you get the magazine, PSATS, Pennsylvania Association of Township Supervisors. In their October issue, they said, may our township levy a fire or ambulance tax, and what are the limits of these taxes? If you go back and you look up that issue, the answer to that is yes, townships may level a fire and or ambulance tax, and it goes on. So if we're not happy with this authority, we can come up with a reasonable amount to charge or assess the residents of each one of our municipalities. And I want to say, coming back to what my father told me, never buy a pig in a poke and never let the cat out of the bag. And as you know, those two phrases mean the same thing. When farmers took their young pigs to market, they would put them in a sack or a poke. But sometimes there wasn't a pig in that poke. And when the person who bought the poke got home and opened it, the cat jumped out. So they let the cat out of the bag. I don't think we have enough information to adopt an ordinance and to approve a set of bylaws. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Evan Burdick, Center Township. My first question is, who in this room is from the association? You could raise a hand. Or had something to do with setting up the association.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't follow you.
The EMS authority, who here helped with the authority?
Rob Brady of Rob Consulting, myself, Jason
any
Kirsch,
members here?
and representatives from the county. I think each municipality, or most of the municipalities, have representatives that have been meeting at a regional level, a district committee level.
Again, could they raise their hands to show how many people here are with the authority? Is there anybody here from the general public? Not fire companies or townships or municipalities? Gotcha. Do you know how the authority is going to bill the citizens or taxpayers? Will it be on the tax bill or a separate bill?
I don't believe that's been determined yet.
I'm just concerned as a firefighter and the president of a fire company that these will be billed through the tax services as fire and EMS tax. The typical citizen may think that when we send donation letters out asking for funds to fund the fire company, that they may already pay into the fire tax. I think that's something the township supervisors and borough managers and board of directors should consider. I'd assume, based on what Gail said, that nobody really knows what the current Citizens Ambulance budget is. Do you have a budget for them?
Just to be clear from my end, I'm the lawyer here who's answering questions about the ordinance. I'm not going to have answers to all these questions.
Just to clarify when I was talking about money, we do not know how much money the authority plans on charging. I think that's a very important issue before we vote. We need that information to make informed decisions. We're not informed. This is being spoon-fed to us. We have to know each step and how it's going to operate and how much it's going to cost. That's the pig in the poke.
Yeah. I can speak to that very generally. How much it will cost depends on how many municipalities choose to participate, and that's one of the key motivators for this evening, because if 38 municipalities choose to participate, it's going to be the lowest cost that can possibly be, and very consistent with the presentation. If 2 municipalities choose to participate, it probably wouldn't be delivered. No. So a lot of, I'm not trying to, let me put it this way. A lot of work has gone into this up to this point to put this committee and the county in the position to feel comfortable to present these ordinances to the municipalities. But there's a lot of work left to do to ensure that it gets fully designed and proposed in a way that's going to be the most economical way for the community. Your participation is essential in making it the way it needs to be. So. I couldn't hear you.
Has the current Citizens Ambulance books been reviewed or audited or studied to see where their money's currently going to?
Someone else would have to answer that. Well, I'm one member of the team, and I have a role in the process.
My final question is, will the Ambulance Service Management Corporation still be involved with the authority that's being established? If some of you don't know, that is the for-profit side of Citizens Ambulance.
One second, Rob Brady's going to address these non-legal questions that I believe we have answers to. I'm just not the person to deliver the answer.
Okay, so I want everybody to pay attention. I want to give you the financial information that's been provided by LifeStat prior to their closing and from Citizens Ambulance Service. Dave, your president? Where are you at? Okay, you reported to us in our December meeting that you had a estimated $2.2 million deficit for 2024, correct?
Stats about Citizens Ambulance.
Wait a minute. I said we're going to get it from both. Okay? So Citizens, you have an estimated $2.2 million deficit? We're going to get to that. Yep. Because I got that information for you, sir. I'll let you know. So 2.2. John, where you at? Before you close down, what was your operating deficit for 2024? Over 700,000. So about 2.9 to $3 million what the operating deficit was for their services. John, can you please tell us what your operating budget is a year for the ambulance? $1.2 million. And then Dave, you were kind enough with Rod Wallback when you came to this meeting. Okay? And I'm going to ask the lady from White Township. This was in meeting minutes that was given to your district rep, Mr. Anderson. It should have been distributed. You should know these numbers. Okay? Dave, please correct me. I don't have my glasses with me. $7.3 million? It's your budget? $7.3 million to run Citizens Ambulance Service. Okay, that's the budget. Okay, so 1.2, 7, $10 million run EMS. Okay, what's your name, sir? I'm sorry.
My name's Bill Ritz.
Bill, one of the questions.
Comparing LifeStat, which is in Westmoreland County, didn't cover the whole county.
No, but I want you to understand that they cover.
I want you to understand. You're comparing apples and oranges here, buddy.
No, I'm not. They're both 911 ambulance. Are you a 911 ambulance service provider? Dave is Citizens Ambulance Service, a 911 ambulance service provider. Okay. All right. You were in Salzburg Borough. Okay. Right. Okay. And same as you, Dave, you cover part of you cover 8 municipalities. Rob, if you want to chime in, you cover 8 municipalities in Armstrong as well. Right? Well,
I'm not speaking unless you want me to speak, but I'm not happy to speak.
no, I want you to be able to answer the question because to make sure, and if John, so everybody roughly knows what it is to cost ambulance service in the county. Okay, so we estimate that's what the cost is.
So,
Okay. Go ahead.
I guess from what we hear, Citizens Ambulance is a nonprofit organization. Up until January 1st, Citizens Ambulance contracted with ASMC to run the ambulance service. In October of this year, Citizens Ambulance Service, as the nonprofit, bought out ASMC. So we are now, as of January 1st, a fully nonprofit organization.
Did you bring the staff over with you?
Pardon me?
Did you bring the staff from?
Well, I had the reason we brought the staff over is because, well, when you say staff, can you be more specific? I brought the billing people. I brought the director of operations, that is our head paramedic. I brought the HR director, and I brought our research, our grant writer. But the owners of ASMC were not brought over. Now, let me get to specifics, because it's easier to break it down this way. For every ALS crew we run, it costs Citizens Ambulance $3,300 to run that ambulance in a 24-hour period. That's how much it costs. We get reimbursed about $560 per trip if that trip is taken to the hospital. If we don't take that trip to the hospital, we get nothing, not one penny. So, in the county, of the 5 stations that we run, there is only one of them that produces a profit. Every other substation is at a loss. The mission of Citizens Ambulance, even when ASMC was here, was to provide coverage for the entire county. We used where we could make money to provide services for the areas we couldn't make money. And so the whole board, when the authority model came into play, realized that the only way we were going to gain support, so to speak, is to fully function as a nonprofit so that every dollar we bring in goes to fund municipal services of providing ambulance protection to the communities of the county, even if it costs us more money than we're bringing in to do so. We would not be here if the insurance companies' rates and reimbursements to this ambulance service kept up to par with the costs it takes for us to run. Mr. Kravetsky is in the same situation that we were in. The only reason that we are in a better position is that we were kind of larger and had a bigger war chest, so to speak, from the profitable days long ago. But we've run this ambulance service for 60 years. We have done the service to the county for 60 years. From a businessman's perspective, it's not necessarily smart for us to run ambulance stations that are losing us money. But we do it because we're a nonprofit, and the mission and the vision of this association was to provide ambulance services for the entire county. That's why we're here. That's why we're asking for support. That's why we decided to go to a fully nonprofit status, So there would be no more, is anybody lining their pockets? We're not. All right? My wife wants to be my agent to negotiate my salary, but I'm doing this for free because this ambulance service was part of my life for 11 years as a paramedic, and I will do whatever I can do to keep it running.
Hi, my name's Jerry. I'm from White Township. I just want to know, are you saying it takes $7.3 million to run the ambulance service in 1 year?
Yeah, you're asking me the budget numbers off the top of my head. I actually didn't expect to be part of the presentation today. Or go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
Could you pass that down?
Hi, Rob Albeck. I'll speak this time as a representative of Citizens Ambulance. Total revenue estimated 2025 is $6,641,760. Total operating expenses $7,296,600.
So it's $7.3 million.
7.3 million. Welcome. Anybody's welcome to see this.
It includes the $400,000 we're getting currently in municipal contributions. So there are municipalities that are there. So the budget that we look at, if we go to say an authority model, those numbers get wiped out. You know, we're offering that if the authority model or the municipalities buy a membership for every citizens, we're not going to ask the citizens to buy another membership. So that's why the numbers fluctuate. But 7.2 is our expenditure rate with the operation currently in existence.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Ben, I'm Wayne Kablack. I live in Indiana Borough. I represent numerous municipalities here. You and I had a discussion on the issue of when you opt out and when you have to pay money. Could you clarify that for this group?
Sure, Wayne. So when the authority is incorporated, the county ordinance would approve of the articles of incorporation of the authority. And you know, your typical articles of incorporation are pretty bare bones, only what the Municipality Authorities Act requires. But what we've done, what we did in Northwest Lancaster County and what we're proposing here is a more robust form of Articles of Incorporation, which kind of lays out an expanded version of what the Authorities Act requires. So as currently drafted in the articles and consistent with the Authorities Act, following the fee hearing of the authority, it's the second hearing. Once the authority is incorporated, it's the hearing that follows that the Authorities Act provides for the opportunity for if a service district or a municipality, if 1/3 of the property owners or the value of the properties in the community say they don't want this, and they communicate that in writing to the municipality, then the fees, the authority can't assess fees in that municipality. It's, for lack of a better term, it's kind of like referendum light. So that's, it's an opportunity where there's a hearing, you've heard everything, all the details, residents say, and we're not trying to encourage this, but we're not trying to hide it either. I mean, if 1/3 of the property owners or the value of 1/3 of the assessed value in the community, I don't have the exact language in front of me, object to what's been presented to them, then the fees can't be assessed. what we've also built in is, and this isn't required by the Authorities Act, but it's just a way for municipalities to still feel like they have a say in whether they go forward or not, is if the elected officials say that they've heard they attended the fee hearing, they heard the plan, they heard the fees, and they say, you know what, we're going to say no to this, then they can choose not to have this provided. I can tell you in Northwest Lancaster County, they all approved it, and there was very few objections, just as a point of reference. But, and Wayne, were you talking about that part or the withdrawal part afterwards?
No, I'm talking about once we know what the fees are going to be, and you have the bylaws, you have the incorporation, if a municipality, either because the number of people is over 1/3, or the municipality itself decides they don't want to be involved, when does it kick in where they're going to have an expense? If they get out right then and there, is there any expense to the municipality?
No, if they, within that, I think it's 45 days after the fee hearing, if the municipality says, no, we don't want to be a part of this, or a third of the property owners say, no, we don't want this, then bills can't be sent to residents or property owners in that municipality. So there's no obligation at that point. Where one of the representative from White Township indicated the penalty clause. Once a municipality is part of this and fees are set based on having the participation of all the municipalities that have chosen to be part of this, you're entering into contracts, you have obligations, liabilities. The idea behind it is that at some point, once the authority's committed and his contracts in place, and the fees are based on having all these property owners paying their bills, the obligations and liabilities that correspond to that municipality would have to be paid for that municipality to cease to be participating in this. That's a little further explanation of the withdrawal option for municipalities. I'll speak to that generally because I think it's nuanced and requires more legal research to give a definitive answer, but what we've advised generally in Northwest Lancaster County, and we've seen this in other communities in the state that have been challenged with this, is that an ambulance provider is not going to say we're not going to go out there. Yeah, it's going to do what it does, and I believe there is at least a limited legal obligation to continue to provide those services because they're needed. However, there are strategies to try to get that municipality to pay for its share of what is being provided in other forms, and that's about all I can comment on that.
I have the microphone. I'm Tammy, and I am a Indiana Borough resident. The first question or thing that I'd like to mention is I'm in favor of bringing in new and protecting the old. So I would like to see a nice blend. Citizen says that they don't get paid for many of their calls, and I wondered if the authority has a plan on how they will recoup fees when it's not paid for. Like, how is Lancaster doing that? Do the insurance companies kind of get off the hook because now you're expecting the residents to pay for the services? The other thing is, let's see. Well, those are the first two things. I would like to see Citizens Ambulant with their new nonprofit organization assisted along the way and kept in service with your new legality, with your new strength, things of that nature. I would like to see a happy blend.
Yeah, no, I think I can generally respond to that. The reason why we propose using this authority as a vehicle is because the Authorities Act permits fees to be assessed to property owners for providing the service. So it allows bills to go to each property, okay? Whether you're a nonprofit, whether you're a business, residence, school, and then so. Yeah, basically. Yeah. That's why the details of how this will be administered, just as it was done in Northwest Lancaster County, gets determined. Okay. Well. Okay. So when, for example, Northwest and Mesa and Northwest Lancaster County, I think the delinquency rate of people not residents, property owners not paying bills is very, very low. Now, for a sewer or water authority, you can pull in other statutes that say you can turn the water off, things like that. I mean, I don't think any lawyer would be really comfortable using some of those powers of the Authorities Act for delinquent payments, but we feel confident in the ability to, place a lien on property if they're not paying. So if you want to sell your house, then you're going to have a lien on it. But I can tell you, it's, again, smaller sample size, but a very similar, comparable approach. It has gone very smoothly there, and I'm sorry, I didn't fully hear that.
If they don't pay the assessment. So my question is that true? It would be a lien on real estate, or would that be just a judgment against you entered at the courthouse?
Well,
because I thought a lien dealt with like something filed at the courthouse, a mortgage, that type of thing.
Well, the specifics and mechanics of that I can't really speak to, but that is an ability, a power under the Authorities Act.
He's a lawyer. He should be able to answer.
No, lawyers don't have every answer in their head when they're. That's why we research, we look at answers, we give thoughtful responses.
Specialist in this field.
Would you let me talk? I have a question.
Okay.
Bonafide
I'm
question.
sorry.
Okay. So you said that a municipality could withdraw the 45-day business after, and this would be after everyone has found out, say it's going to be $100 per resident. That's just a ballpark number. So if they do, then the rest of us, or the rest of the municipalities or districts, whatever you want to call them, have already said, okay, yeah, we'll join. What happens to the fee assessment then? Do you go back and have to increase it?
That's a great question.
And then at that point, do you have to go back through the public hearings and all this so that everyone has a chance to decide again?
I'd say worst case scenario where a critical mass of municipalities choose not to participate when all the facts are there. Ma'am, if I can just finish my point. Then if there's a critical mass that choose to not participate at that critical point in the juncture, then decisions would have to be made on whether you go back to the drawing board to tweak the plan and represent it with different fees. But the point is, and it's a great question, is that it does affect how you move forward and what it looks like. Just as this is kind of a threshold point of taking the planning to the next step to work out the details to be able to have a plan and have an authority.
I think that generally people are in favor of ambulance service. You know, we understand that's a good thing. But I think that there are so much questions that people have that the knowledge of knowing ahead of time, it's almost like you've put the cart before the horse here, setting up this authority that you say will be a sovereign entity. Then who's the oversight over that? You know, how do we get to say, well, wait a minute. You know, at that point, it's on its own, right? I mean, that's just my thought.
Thank you.
I speak now?
What you're talking about.
I've been so good.
Give her a microphone.
Hi, this is Sandy Gillette, White Township Citizens Ambulance. I wanted to read from the newspaper yesterday and from the slide earlier. It said the ultimate goal would be to delegate the municipality's responsibility to provide emergency medical services to a countywide authority, which will provide improved management, sustainable funding, and transparent oversight. All this was to be at the beginning was sustainable funding for Citizens Ambulance. I think we here in this room as supervisors have become aware that we need sustainable funding. Should it come from the municipalities? That's what the code says. But we've gone to capital fundraising. We've done what we could, and we've managed to remain afloat. We now have a 12-member group of a board of directors, unpaid, who are making these decisions with the guidance of our crew, who are very versed, and you know yourself, Mike Dunn. There's not a better operations man out there. And you have Dave Schaefer, who you all have dealt with one way or the other through administrative reasons. The citizens has sent you all letters about, we're trying to keep you up to date. Today I learned one municipality did not know that ASMC was bought out, that it's no longer there. You know why your board did this? Not because they were hiding money and we were part of it. Your board did it for you, every one of you in this room, because you had naysayers. You had people who thought money was going somewhere it shouldn't have. Before we purchased and bought them out, those books were scrutinized. We had a CPA review them, and I can honestly tell you, as a fellow township supervisor, nothing was astray. All we need is for you to contribute. And one time somebody in Creekside said, can we have a gun bash instead of taxing or feeing our residents? Sure. However you as a municipality want to do it. That's all we have to do. You can come to citizens, and I advise you all to talk to them and see. We've had a couple townships come in, and they have met with us for longer than we wanted to, but they left feeling good about it. They feel good about having citizens as their provider. Now, you may have citizens mentioned here briefly, but in 2 years from now, I don't know if that's the plan.
Yeah, with all due respect, I think we need to try to keep these to 3 minutes. Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Missy Johnson. I'm supervisor in Young Township. You had made a statement that this is working in Lancaster. Is there any way that you can give us their numbers as to, you know, how many parcels we're paying, and kind of give that to us as a template so we can kind of get a basis of what this may cost each individual?
Yeah, I think that can be provided.
And if you have a piece of property and it has 18 apartments on it, okay, and then you have a piece of property where there's nothing on it, how are you justifying the cost of an ambulance service never being called to a parcel versus an ambulance service potentially being called to a parcel 18 different times?
Where was that lady at? So, okay, hi. I couldn't see. I want to go back a couple of different things here. Higher up, is that better? Okay, Bill, you said you had a question, and the lady next to you, can you reiterate one of your questions? I want to try to answer a couple things based on what this lady just said about the Lancaster County to give you a better idea of what's happening so you can answer. So go, I'd like you to go first.
I just want it to be known.
No,
No, just give me a second.
oh no, I thought that was just, you wanted to be known. Go ahead.
I'm a 65-and-a-half-year resident of Indiana County, a 40-year resident of White Township. Yale's been my neighbor for 33 years. I fully support Citizens Ambulance, as do the people of this county. I was an over-the-road trucker. I've been to accidents where they've come in a country squire station wagon, threw a guy on a stretcher and took off down the interstate.
Yep.
And I'm standing there bragging about Citizens Ambulance. This was 35 years ago. But the problem I have is I just found out about all this 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I fully support Citizens
No, we agree.
But I'm here because it seems like it's being, the wool being pulled over
Okay.
my eyes.
Okay, thank you.
And I have a big exception with that.
Right. I understand. Yeah, I wanted to, you,
My question before was if you get to the point where everyone has to decide, the numbers have come out, and we've got that 45-day period, and we say, White Township, which is a big township, says, nope, we have enough people that say, we're going to try something else.
Right.
So then everyone else that's left there, you're going to have to go back and increase the assessment, and then at that point, you got to start over with your public hearings, and everyone has to have a chance to decide if they want to stay in. That was one of my questions.
right, yeah, we potentially would have to do that. So the more people you have involved, you're 100% correct, you're going to have better economies of scale, it's going to keep the cost down. So if a municipality would choose to pull out, that will adjust those numbers of what an individual property owner, based on whether it's residential, whether the use is commercial, whether the use is residential, if it's open space, all those different things. So that number could very easily adjust. When we did it in Lancaster County, so everybody knows, going back to Ed's, we were up to about $125 a number for a residential use. If you went to their website, if you heard, it's $85 a year for a residential use. That's what the cost is right now. That's what the first year is, that's what the second year is, and what they're most likely, by the way, their budget numbers, it's going to be the same for the third year, so to give you a rough idea. Yes, and then somebody asked what happens if a municipality pulls out. So the municipal code requires the municipal governments to determine the service provider. I think, was that you, sir, that asked about what happens? Who asked about? I want to make sure I get everybody. There's some really good questions. What happens if you opt out? So the municipal government then determines who their ambulance provider is. You could, I don't agree with this, but you could, as elected officials, say we don't want ambulance service in our municipal government. Okay, that is an option, just so everybody knows. Attorney Clayback, nice to meet you finally, in person. But would you agree? I mean, it could be as simple as passing an ordinance or a resolution, depending whether you're a borough or a township, and saying we don't want this service anymore, right? I mean, that is an option, correct? Right. Exactly.
It's very small. It does not clarify anything. Do we need citizens ambulance to meet the standard? Probably not.
Right.
But you can't have a first aid kit and a first responder there either. The courts have not yet determined what actually municipal authorities need to do to make this thing work. But bottom line is, you want to protect your citizens.
Yep,
You want to make sure there's coverage there.
Yep. So at the end of the day, the municipal government, it's ultimately up to their discretion of how that service is provided, who provides it, if they choose not to participate in this. Yes, ma'am.
So is the whole purpose of this authority being established to be the administration part for the ambulance service?
So what we're looking at, to clarify once again, the comment, somebody made a comment about all these administrative costs, okay? I call myself a little bit of a conservative guy when it comes to money, all right? I want to know where my tax money, okay, now just so everybody said, I said this for a reason, tax money, okay? In the Municipal Authorities Act, and the attorneys can correct me, but it says in the law, it says it's a fee that's imposed. But we all know at the end of the day, we're going to call a spade a spade. It is a tax, right? Exactly. So we're not going to lie to you or anything else. At the end of the day, it is a tax, okay? The law says a fee, that's what we're required to call, but we're going to call a spade and just tell you it is a tax, okay? The difference is we talked about the fire tax and the ambulance tax. That uses property taxes. We heard from a lot of people that they wanted an option other than using property taxes. That's why we want the authority model, that it would just be a fee, quote unquote, tax imposed once a year for the delivery of ambulance services. So the tax bill that you receive, if the township or borough you live in doesn't increase taxes locally for general fund stuff, or for some other reason the county does it, your property tax you should be paying is going to be the same. The difference is that you will see on your bill a fee for ambulance service is how it would be done, okay? I want to know how my money is spent. So we envision to make sure, and we're not the decision makers. We want all you to, one of the reasons is because this has to be incorporated, and then the people sat, and those people who will represent you are making the final decision of what the final plan that will be presented to all of you, because they're going to be getting feedback from all of you, okay? I envision 3 people as all that authority is going to need. It may only need 2. You're going to need an executive director and a financial person to take care of making sure all those checks and balances are being done. And then you may need an administrative assistant or something like that. We could substantially save potential employment costs under the authority. Instead of having an employee, we could contract out to a financial services, a professional accounting firm to take care of that fiscal part. It could be 50% less of what a cost of an employee is, but we don't know that. We have to determine that. So it could be, but I would envision, as an educated guess, 3 people. Okay, could be a little. We're going to tell you that. You need somebody. We're not going to, I can tell you, working with this gentleman, we are not going to create a system that there's just money in and money out and there's zero accountability. We have heard from the beginning that everybody wanted accountability for how the money was coming in. So that's what it is. And then the goal is, you heard the estimated budget of what it would call to provide ambulance service. There has been never. Sandy, we've debated this. There's many people's opinions out there how citizens' lifestyle. None of us care what happened in the past. We know there's a financial problem, there's a shortcoming. We want to create a system that fixes that. Do any of us want to pay? Positively not. We would prefer there was no cost associated with this. But as you can hear from the deficit part, there is a need to create a funding stream to make that other difference. We have no intentions of replacing anybody from Citizens staff. I'm tired of hearing rumors that we're taking, who was the one guy? Fire chief over here. I know there's 1 or 2 others. There's been a rumor going around, we're going to take all the fire service over in the county. Right, chief? We talked about it. Seriously? This says emergency medical services.
Maybe if this wasn't all done behind people's backs,
Well,
we'd have more trust in it.
well, Bill, and I think here's what it is. Okay, and please don't take me, I'm just throwing this out here. All the people on here are people who are doing this for free. Your neighbors, okay? So they have a limited amount of time, okay? This is the first attempt in Pennsylvania to create something this large. There's a lot of moving parts, okay? So what we're trying to do is we have been relying on people to come back and provide the correct information, and that is really tough because you deal with 10 people, roughly 10, 12 people, who then distribute it to 38 municipalities, which is then supposed to go out to approximately, on a good day, about 89,000 people. It's a challenge. I agree. There's a lot of people that are in the dark. I'm 100%.
You don't realize, I live in a township that's so well managed that we don't have a real estate tax.
And that's right. Yeah.
I live in a county that every year my property taxes go up.
Okay.
And so now you want to take this guy, from citizens who over the past 50 years have done an exemplary job.
Mm-hmm.
And turn that over to a county that's going to keep wanting more and more and more
No.
every year.
Just so you know, we're not turning it over to the county. The county is the one who is authorizing the adoption of the ordinance to create the authority. The authority will be made up by your representatives, and Citizens Ambulance Service are the ones who are going to continue to provide the ambulance service. We're not getting rid of any of the 12 board members. We're not,
Going to propose a tax that's going to go straight to a nonprofit.
right,
How's that legal?
because they're going to be the service provider. They're the contracted service provider.
Maybe there's people that live on the border that want the service from another county.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Maybe there's people that live on the border that want the service of another county. Same as what was in Salisbury, like you said.
Right.
Lifestyle.
So,
Now, that's where I keep coming into this with Gail McCall. People down, the Indiana County line, St. Clair Township is West Warren County. So the people in Indiana
So from the,
Then all of a sudden next year, you say, oh, well, we need $50 more per household because we're doing work in other counties, but we can't assess them because they're in another county.
well, if those municipalities would participate and decide they want Citizens to be their primary participant, provider, they would be part of potentially of the system, and their residents would get charged for that. Here's the other thing, keep in mind. If they run a mutual aid call that's not in the coverage they're charging, correct, the patient that's getting the care, correct? What is your base rate for a BLS call that you're charging? $370, $380? 500, up to 565. So they are going to get a bill.
I got a problem with that because about 10 years ago, my daughter needed just a transport from Clyde to Indiana Hospital with a neck brace on from a horse show, and we got billed for $1,200.
You're going
It was over 10 years ago.
You'd have to talk to the Citizens Ambulance Service. They are the people that we are going to be working with to fund and support. I want you to be very clear. That's who we're going to be working with, Citizens Ambulance Service. That is who we're going to fund and support with this process, okay?
All I hear is talking in circles, so I'd like to hear from the gentleman down there as well.
Thank you, thank you. Matthew Black, Homer City Borough. You guys are talking about having a director and executive director of this authority. I feel it's unnecessary. You got 3 commissioners that can oversee this.
Okay.
You also have a board with Citizens Ambulance, okay? This would save a lot in cost because you already have citizens in place that can do the job.
So you think that when we work through this process, if that is a recommendation, the articles, that structure could potentially be changed, and your recommendation is that it should be, as we work through this, the 3 commissioners and maybe a representative, some citizens?
Yes.
Okay, good, thank you. Great comment, great idea, thank you, appreciate that. We've not heard that since we started, so thank you.
My question is, instead of charging all the taxpayers, why don't we just go to every individual that's 18 years or older? Everyone, not just the people that owns properties or that works for a living. Let's go to all these people, the people that lives in low-income apartments, everything.
Okay.
Maybe we get more people involved, we can just lower the cost.
Okay.
Do it that way instead of taxpayers or the homeowners.
Okay, so you would like us to try to see if we could research...
Yeah, because I'm tired of paying for these ones that don't work for a living, number one.
Totally understand. So you'd like us to try to research if we can do something per capita?
Yes.
Okay, no, that's fine. Nobody's promoting
And
that.
then I'd like to see something helping the elderly people instead of...
Lancaster
You know,
County-
my mother lives on $700 a month Social Security.
So
she is limited. She cannot spend this kind of money, and I know there's a lot more people out there like this.
Yeah, what's your first name, sir?
Mike.
Mike. Now, Dave, please, and just so for information knowledge, we asked the question, what we found in Lancaster County, because I don't know. Dave, do you ask when people, or Rob, when you ask for ambulance club membership, of course you want their name and address, correct? Do you ask their age?
We have a discount for people over 65, so the question is, are you a senior citizen?
So we've been thinking about seeing if we could do a reduced rate for anybody.
I'm just tired of spending the
Oh,
money
no,
on
no,
people
I
that
understand.
don't work for a living.
But what percentage of the subscriptions are in Lancaster County, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember, and I'm just pointing, it was around 70%, wasn't it, of subscriptions were over 60 and older were the ones who were actually buying the membership, surprisingly? And what?
I'm not against this.
Oh, no.
Not at
Just-
all.
just-
I just think it's
Yep.
more fair to charge everybody
Yep.
so that we're not giving
Yep,
free loads
I
of sobriety anymore.
appreciate you bringing that up, thank you. Okay. Okay. Yes, sir.
My question is, has anybody thought about petitioning the state to see if you could increase the sales tax within the county by 0.25%, 0.5%? That way, everybody's coming into the county is being charged, because it's not just the residents of the county that's going to need the ambulance. There's other people that are coming in that are going to be using this ambulance service. So it's not really fair that the people that own property, only the people that own property, are paying for everybody else throughout the state that are coming in that's going to need the ambulance.
Yeah, and we don't at this current time. Now, all the counties, now, Wayne, you do different. You do municipal work, correct? So if it's my understanding, if you want to change in the hotel sales tax and using it, that has to be approved by the legislature, correct? On changes on some of those levels? Because currently we can't use, other states use sales tax to help fund public services. We do not have that option in Pennsylvania.
But the state does. The state, everything's controlled through the state. The state is the only municipality that can raise the sales tax. Local government cannot do that.
Exactly. So we'd have to petition the state legislature.
Exactly.
And I think it's, hey, it works in other states. We've seen it work, some stuff we've done research on. It would be a viable, and then you capture everybody.
Because not only EMS, but the next thing coming down the pike is going to be fire. Yep. Because most of the departments in this county, they're volunteer. They make all their own money to go out and get their new equipment, other than if they're lucky enough to get a grant. A new fire truck's going to cost $1 million. These guys are out there busting their butt 24 hours a day. You know, they'll go at any time. Plus, not only are they answering calls, they have to take up with the training, and they also have to make all this money to keep their equipment up. And I understand that we're getting off base here, but also to go back to the citizens ambulance. I live in the southern, we represent a township in the southern part of the county. Citizens is not one of our ambulances. So now what do we do? So are we supposed to charge our residents for a service that they're never going to get to use? Now, if they would be willing to move the ambulance, an ambulance closer to our municipality, then I think it would be fair that we would do it. But without our residents getting to use that ambulance, why am I going to charge our residents for a service that they'll never get to use?
Right. Once again, the proposal is that citizens, we've asked citizens if they could relocate vehicles, and their answer was yes.
And then secondly, I agree with the lady from White Township. If we don't know what it's going to cost, we can't say that we can't vote to say, yeah, we're in, till we know what the cost is to our residents. Also, as you said, we have a lot of elderly people. $100 a year for them is a lot of money when they're on a fixed income. Most of them are checking to see, are they going to eat this month, or are they going to pay for the medication? So,
yeah, thank you. So, right. All right, folks, thank you for this. Okay, we're going to take you. I'm sorry, what's your name?
Samantha, Homer City.
Samantha, we'll take you as the last, and we'll move on to the next part. Go ahead.
You had said about what Lancaster was paying, their regular residents were paying. What are you charging the businesses?
I think their rate is $125. Jason, 120. Without looking, I think it's $125, and then there's a multiplier for every full-time equivalent.
So every full-time equivalent employee plus $125.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay.
Are residents still going to be charged for services even though they pay the annual membership fee to the authority? Not the annual membership fee, but the taxes or whatever fee is required of them. I realize there won't be a membership.
There won't be membership.
So we pay the tax, but we still be charged above and beyond what our insurance covers for the services provided.
Answer this and then wrap it up.
Okay, so the fee would take the place of the voluntary ambulance subscription program. However, Citizens has talked about the idea of doing a capital campaign at some point in time for different things, correct, Dave? Right. Right, it's not our role. We can't control deductibles, we can't control what those insurance companies, right.
So any fee above and beyond that responsibility over our charge is covered by the membership. But there's nothing we can do about your deductible.
I'll just thank everybody in advance, the 12 people that have to deal with the phone calls, 89,000 people that get secondary bills on top of their authority's service bill.
I guess I'm going to go. Brad, Homer City. I might have missed this earlier. I was trying to keep track of some of the stuff you were saying. You've only tried this in Lancaster County, correct?
It's been implemented in Northwest Lancaster County.
Only in Northwest Lancaster County?
Hills of Allegheny County, the North Hills right above Pittsburgh, Ross Township, Weston Borough.
North of Pittsburgh, too.
Was that for the rest of?
No, the rest of Lancaster County isn't participating in it. Yeah, no interest on their part. Okay.
There was a huge interest from all the municipalities in the southern part of the Lancaster County, but we had this huge gap in between. So the decision was that they were like, they may create their own to serve essentially from Lancaster City to the Maryland line on their own, because it was such a large gap area between the two service areas.
Yeah. Thank you.
There's six or seven that are participating. Yep. About I think it's around 60,000, 62,000 for the ones participating. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everybody. A reminder that by deliberating and taking action on the ordinance, you're allowing for the next steps to happen. There's further hearings, there's further participation, further creation of the plan to be put in a form where all the details are put together, and then they'll essentially have a period where you can say yes or no to it. We're going to move on to the municipal deliberation portion, so we're going to invite the elected officials of each municipality to come down one at a time. So we're starting with Banks Township. If the Banks Township supervisors can come have a seat at the table in the front. And there's an agenda there with a suggested, I'll let you take a seat, where there's a suggested motion. A second would be entertained by the other elected official, and then that's when you two can discuss, deliberate, and then potentially have a vote. I'll leave it at that. And then when you've concluded, we'd ask for you to motion to adjourn your meeting so we can move on to the next municipality. And then we'll ask you, assuming the ordinance is enacted, if it's enacted, we're going to move over to that other table. I'm going to have copies of the ordinance to be signed. Thank you.
Our secretary's not here tonight, but we're going to go ahead with this. Kevin Lucas, Chairman, Banks Township. All right, we're open for a motion to accept and proceed with this ordinance. And I guess I should read the emergency services ordinance. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion.
All right, Mr. Pierce has made a motion to proceed with this. I'm going to go ahead and second it, and we're going to have a little debate on the we realize we're signing an open-ended motion. ordinance here. The issue for us up in Banks Township is we're small. We look at this as there has to be strength in numbers for us to proceed. And as we go along with this, I feel personally that if the numbers at the next step don't satisfy and the projected services don't meet what we're looking for, then I would recommend we be out the door. But in order for this to even get off the ground and to even be able to get numbers, this has to be done. And yes, I don't make a habit of signing open-ended things. But for us, we don't have much population. We have more deer than people, and very low budget. We didn't vote yet. Did you have anything to say?
No.
All right. So, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We don't have the other guy here. All right. Chair needs a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second it. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Black Lick Township.
Tim Stewart, Blacklick Township.
Frank Marty, Blacklick Township.
We're going to open this meeting or continue this meeting with the ordinance for the Municipal Service Authority. I make a motion we adopt the ordinance.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now we'll open up, we'll open for discussion.
Pretty much agree with what Bank said. We're a small township also, small population. Everything that they agreed with, we kind of agree with too.
I know Frank is also a member of Citizens Ambulance and works for them part-time, and you know, I'm a member of the local fire department folks, and I've seen the decline in the ambulance responses in our area and the timeline to get an ambulance out in some of our rural areas, and we've got to correct that. And this is, moving forward, is the only way I can see to correct this problem. We need to get the service back up to where it was 10, 15 years ago, and citizens can't do it on their own. We need to step up and help. So I'm going to move forward with this.
I agree.
All right. I did step out a little ahead and take a vote early, but we're going to re-vote on that. I'll make a motion that we adopt this ordinance.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that motion is unanimous. We have enacted the ordinance. Need a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn. Second.
I'll second we adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.
Blairsville Borough.
get a motion to move forward with delegating the EMS service.
I'd actually like to make a motion to table a little bit further at our next regular council meeting in February.
Okay. We have a motion to table. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion, questions? Again, this, by tabling, it'll give our residents an opportunity to hear what came out of this meeting and a meeting tomorrow night, and have a little bit more information to make a decision at our next meeting. Roll call, Mr. Janusik.
Yes.
Mr. Startari?
Yes.
Ms. Sagely?
Yes.
Mr. Bertolino, yes. Mr. DeTore?
Yes.
Did you adjourn your meeting? Oh, did you? Okay, cool. Thank you, sir.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right.
Borough Township? We allowed in a special meeting whatever their normal business is. Yeah, you're more than welcome to, yes. Well, that wasn't, we're now doing the special meeting, so yes, you're more than welcome to do the Pledge of Allegiance if you'd like to. These gentlemen can do it. It's up to you guys. It's positively.
John Shields, Borough Township. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Grant Rigger.
John Shields. The purpose of this meeting is to vote on this ordinance. Do you have any discussion on it? No. No discussion? I am going to make a motion to accept this at this level with the understanding that we can opt out after we find out a little more about it. I'm concerned about the costs and how we're going to present this to our public. I strongly feel that we're going to have a lot of opposition on this from people that we've already talked to. So I want to leave that open that we can opt out at a later event. But I'll make a motion to adopt this at this time.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a unanimous vote, so I'll make a motion to adjourn. Got a second?
Second.
Canoe Township.
As chairman of Canoe Township, I bring this meeting to order. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, he agrees. All right. So, under this paperwork, I vote we opt in.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, Canoe Township is in. Thank you. Meeting adjourned?
Adjourned.
Okay, you second it?
Second.
Meeting adjourned.
Take those ordinances that you have over there with Ben and you'll sign them over there.
Cherry Hill. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Township.
Thanks, guys.
Acting Chairman of the Board of Supervisors for Cherry Hill Township, I call meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is I make a motion that we vote on this ordinance. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
Everybody vote in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second it.
Aye.
Cherry Tree Borough.
The purpose of the meeting is to adopt the ordinance concerning EMS. I'll make that motion that we would adopt the ordinance. Looking for a second.
I'll second it.
Got a second? Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Motion to adjourn.
Second it.
Second? Okay, we're out of here.
Clymer Borough. I need a motion to adopt the EMS County Created Authority. Motion by John.
Second.
Seconded by John Buddhabaugh. All in favor? Aye. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Conemaugh Township.
Call this meeting of the Conemaugh Township Supervisor Special Meeting to order. We're here to adopt the ordinance for the EMS authority. I believe that we adopt this resolution with the understanding that if we do not agree with what the price will be, and if we do not get coverage from the ambulance service, that we will be able to pull out at any time.
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
All's in favor? So moved. Any other discussion? Okay, meeting, motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye, so moved.
East Mahoning.
Patrick Ackerson, Chairman of the East Mahoning Township.
Rich Leidy, Supervisor, East Mahoning Township.
It's open for discussion to adopt this ordinance. Any discussions? Nope. One thing I want you guys to realize, the fire companies are just as bad as the ambulance right now. So just think about that in the future. This could grow into something else, helping two companies, not just one. I need a motion to accept the ordinance.
Accepted.
Second?
Yep.
All approve?
Approved.
Okay, motion to adjourn the meeting?
Adjourned.
Second? All approved.
Glenn Campbell Borough.
I call this meeting of the Glen Campbell Borough special meeting for voting on the EMSA ordinance. Do we have any discussion? The only thing I have to say, we put this in front of our attorney. Our attorney advised us not to sign it. He said there's too many questions there not being answered. And one of the things is that he's not sure that this is legal to do. He said because the Authorities Act says that we cannot, as a municipality, compete against private individuals who run a company. So I'm going to leave it up to the council. Do we have a motion?
I'll second it, but knowing that there is also a way, we need to know numbers and all of that stuff and to proceed with the next step.
Okay.
Our service we had before, we were located in Hillsdale, PA. They moved it from Hillsdale to Starford. We have service now. Most of our service is coming from Hastings or Northern Cambria. Punxsutawney too. I feel whenever this comes about, if they do it in regions, we'll discuss this later on, another situation, but it should be moved closer if they're going to do it in the regions they had on the map.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Do we have a motion to adjourn? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We are adjourned.
Grant Township.
Hi. So the purpose of our meeting this evening, it's a special meeting. We have been directed, myself as Chairperson Stacy Long of Grant Township. I would like to make a motion to enact an ordinance delegating the administration of an EMS to a county-created authority on a mutually agreeable date. Can I have a second? Oh, good. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Is there any discussion? Discussion? No discussion? I would like to make a meeting to, or a motion to adjourn. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks, everyone.
Green Township, please.
I'd like to call this special meeting of the Green Township Board of Supervisors to order. Our subject tonight is to go and adopt the ordinance with intent to participate in EMS. Do I have a motion? Second?
I'll second it as long as we discuss it later on if something changes.
Well, that's the one, and I agree. But otherwise, the main thing I would say in all this is that for all these meetings we've been to, we've been hearing a lot of concepts that we couldn't have any details because we didn't know how many participants and so on there would be. Between tonight's meeting and tomorrow night's meeting, that should be answered, so we'll be looking for details forthcoming. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. And I agree. Sonia, may we have the next contestants, please?
Homer City.
All right, we'll call this meeting to order. My name is Joe Izzy. I'm president of the council. I will ask for a motion on this.
Mr. President,
Matt,
I make a motion we table it until our February 4th meeting and discuss it with the rest of council and our solicitor.
all right, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So move it. We'll table it till our council meeting on Tuesday.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, second? Right. All in favor? Aye.
Montgomery Township.
All right, I call a meeting to order. We're here to adopt the ordinance to proceed with the EMS. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Any comments? The only comment I have is, if everybody would buy a membership in Citizens Ambulance, we wouldn't be going through all this stuff. They'd have enough money. And that's all they're asking for. They just want enough money, so if you don't want to give it to them, basically we're going to take it from you, in a nutshell. So that's the only comment I have on that. Need a motion to adopt the ordinance?
Make a motion to adopt the ordinance.
I will second it.
And it'll be unanimous. Any other questions? Motion adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Unanimous. Right.
North Mahoning Township.
You guys need to go over there.
Joan Dean, Secretary Supervisor, North Mahoning Township. I want to make a motion to enact the ordinance delegating the administration of EMS to a county-created authority on a mutually agreeable date. We have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Nope.
I think it's, with all the meetings that we've gone to, we've had a pretty good discussion on it, so I just need a motion to adjourn.
I will second it, or I will make the motion. You want a second?
Second.
Pine Township.
Ryan Schultz, Pine Township Chairman, Supervisors, Chris Cameron, Vice Chair of the Supervisors. Where'd that piece of paper go? No, the one that was here. We're here to vote on the ordinance or the EMS authority. Do I have a motion to accept the authority ordinance?
Motion.
I second that. Is there any discussion?
No, I think we're just, like the other townships, we'll just, we want to see all those details, but we know we need to enact this ordinance in order to get those details. So that's why we're going to vote for it.
Oh, stole my, no, somebody else did. I'm bringing you up.
All those in favor of enacting the ordinance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. So I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second that motion. All signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Smicksburg Borough. Oh, you need your copy.
Ben Steffi, Smicksburg Borough. Call a meeting to order to discuss the formation of the Board for Emergency services funding. Do we want to have a vote?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion, second? Second, all in favor? Aye. None opposed? No? Okay. Motion passes. Motion to adjourn. I'll make a motion. Okay. I'll third.
South Mahoning.
Motion to adopt this ordinance. Yes.
Yes.
I'll second it.
Washington Township.
Make a motion to accept the ordinance for the emergency services building. Did I get a second? To the motion. Second to the motion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. No. Motion to adjourn the meeting? Second. There you go.
I didn't catch that. Was that a no? They said no. Yes.
It was a no.
No? Okay.
I'd like to give a reason for it, though, if you want to hear it.
No, you're, go ahead, go ahead. If you'd like to, go right ahead.
We already pay citizens then.
Okay, thank you,
If everybody else would pay, we wouldn't be here.
thank you.
White Township is
White Township?
back.
Good, George, I'm gonna stand. I need to stand for
Missing Gel. Oh, Rich. She's over there. Hey.
Hey,
George.
Ferdinand was here.
I'll call to order the special meeting of White Township Board of Supervisors. I'm Rich Gallo, the chairman. Before we start, and I ask for a vote or a motion here, I'm going to make a comment. We've sat here tonight and listened to a lot of people speak, but I think White Township, we're one of the largest municipalities in this, and I think it's important. I think we've lost half the audience here. That's unfortunate that we're W and we're at the end of this, but I would like to thank everyone here for this evening and all the work that has been accomplished through this by enlightening us all. We can all agree today we are all here for one common goal, the goal to have an ambulance provider we can count on with a high level of service. Citizens Ambulance has been a proud partner of all municipalities for over 60 years. White Township has funded Citizens Ambulance for several years, and we will continue to do so. By eliminating ASMC, Citizens Ambulance Board has taken the necessary steps to make Citizens a true not-for-profit organization. This creates a truly transparent partnership for the Board of Supervisors and Citizens Ambulance. White Township is committed to our residents, the visitors, businesses, property owners to find the best economical means to fund EMS without the loss of patient care. White Township believes a continued partnership with Citizens is the answer for us. We are developing a funding solution, solutions to handle our share to fully protect our residents. We are open to working with others on a multi-municipal approach. Keep in mind, Wade Township has provided financially over the years, and I think all municipalities have a responsibility. And I think that's the root of this. We have to look at not getting more layers of bureaucracy that cost money, and then also make it more difficult for you, the citizens, to be able to speak out on what they want. With that said, I'm going to open the floor here for a motion to adopt the ordinance. Do I hear a motion? I was going to get it on the floor and then have comments, okay? Do we have a motion to adopt the ordinance?
I make a motion not to adopt the ordinance.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor not to adopt the ordinance. Do I have a second? Properly seconded. Now we'll open it up for discussion from my fellow supervisors.
I really don't have any additional comments. I think I said everything that I felt earlier in the evening.
Yeah, there's just not enough information. I don't know how you other places could vote for it, but that's your choice, I guess. You don't even know what you're voting for.
George Lenz. I'm a member of the PSAP's administrative program in Harrisburg. I'm on the resolutions committee, and I want to read to you part of a resolution that PSAP's adopted last year. And it has to do with the emergency services cooperative programs. Basically, it encourages townships to work together, but the dominant statement in it, it opposes a single or dominant county authority without financial and legal protection for townships. Now, that is what we officially adopted, and we sent that to the legislature asking them to implement it. That was done last year. But I just want you to know the bottom line, like these other folks said, White Township's responsibilities end at the boundary of White Township. And when somebody said there was $400,000 contributed, over $200,000 of that came from White Township. So I just want you to know we're holding our end up, and we will continue to.
Thank you, George. Okay, any further discussion before we ask for the vote? Okay, the motion on the table is to enact the ordinance delegating the administration of EMS to the county-created authority on a mutual agreeable date. All in favor say aye. All opposed, raise their hand. It's unanimous. It did not pass. This time I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.
Young Township.
Hi, everyone. We talked it over, and I need a motion to adopt this or not.
I make a motion to reject it, pending further information. We'll put it on the table.
I second it.
Okay. We're not.
We gotta get more information
gotta
on
get
this
more
before we do
information.
anything.
Yeah, it is going to
Well,
go
I
forward.
believe that if we all in this room don't agree on something, it's not gonna be beneficial to the smaller townships. Indiana has the biggest municipality. And if Indiana is gonna work something through where possibly our commissioners can have a chance to do it. Us as a small municipality, we have 1,800 residents, 700 parcels. You know, so to get more information, there's nothing wrong with getting more information. We can put it on a table, but that's not holding us to say, well, you signed it in, it's already, and it's going against the law that they had wrote with PSTAX. So by us putting it on the table, it lets us get more information, but in turn, lets us be able to have the freedom to reject it without paperwork being signed before we know what's going on. So,
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Oh, yeah, we're tabling.
That's it then?
Yep, that's it.
All right, thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate your attendance tonight.
My grandfather, 3 different spellings, he wanted to be different.
No, because that would be my Mike Shaw. He's down in Worship. That's why I was like,
Probably a distant relative.
okay.
The tree is forever.
Is he really?
Yep.
Exactly where the village is. But it's like I said, explained. You got 10 or 12 people who are trying to get it together. And you can't. There's only so much. I could be up here 7 days a week. I wouldn't get everybody.
Right.
So what my goal is we're going to build this out. When that plan, just like we did in Lexington, where it's very clear on every service level, what the fees can be and all that kind of stuff. Since ASMC